Welcome to this explainer. Today we are looking at something truly staggering. Seriously, think about this for a second. Every single year, millions of people completely drop whatever they're doing to converge on one highly specific point on the globe. We're going to examine this massive global gathering of the Hajj, not just as a set of ancient historical rituals, but as a masterful socio-spiritual engineering project. You can think of it as the Abrahamic project. Basically, it's a profound, almost cybernetic system designed to repair the human condition and totally renew our original covenant with the Creator.
Which brings us to a massive hook and a vital question for today. How exactly do you reboot the human soul? I mean, when your computer starts glitching, you run a system diagnostic, right? Well, humanity has its own major glitches. We've got division, ego, conflict, and just endless daily noise. What we're exploring today is literally a system diagnostic for the human condition, a meticulously designed protocol meant to clear out all of our corrupted files.
So here is the roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to diagnose the human system crash, introduce the sovereign protocol, see exactly how this system shatters our mental idols, initiates the great factory reset, and finally achieves its ultimate goal, returning to original Fithra.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. Phase 1, the human system crash.
Before we can even attempt to fix the system, we have to properly diagnose the malware that's currently corrupting our human kernel. Now, throughout history, human beings have repeatedly distorted or just flat-out rejected objective truth, and the source material points out that it's almost always due to these deeply ingrained psychological and societal barriers. We can identify these corrupted files as the 4 mental idols. First, nationalism. And this isn't just about waving flags, it's that dangerous my tribe right or wrong mindset that puts local identity above objective truth. Next is superstition, which is essentially abandoning your intellect and reason for comfortable, wishful thinking. Then we have habit. This is basically our modern-day echo chamber, the subjective, totally emotional refusal to accept anything that disrupts our familiar little bubble. And finally, interest, where economic and authoritarian leaders exploit the masses purely for their own power and wealth. These 4 idols act as societal malware, heavily distorting human consciousness and keeping the globe endlessly fractured.
So, how in the world do we fix this perpetually crashed system? Well, we introduce Phase 2, the sovereign protocol. This right here is the theological architecture designed to get humanity running optimally on a shared network. The absolute primary piece of code is the Sunnah of Tawhid. We define this as the absolute unconditional surrender to the singular creator of the universe. It is the ultimate unification protocol. Think about the sheer logic of this for a moment. If there is literally only one master, then absolutely no human being is fundamentally above another human being. It's impossible. By bowing to one universal truth, Tawhid is designed to completely dissolve all those artificial, man-made hierarchies of race, wealth, and lineage, leveling humanity out into absolute total equality. And acknowledging that one master naturally produces our second foundational pillar, which is Jama'ah. This translates to the main body, or the unified community. But here's the key. It's not just about a blind, numerical gathering of bodies. It is the strict adherence to the truth, rather than some partisan alignment. It's a rock-solid commitment to an integrated system where the community is united by objective reality, entirely bypassing that dangerous idol of nationalism we diagnosed a minute ago.
To actually maintain this delicate balance, the system utilizes what Islamic scholar Ibn Taymiyyah refers to as the barzakh, or the bridge. So on one hand, you have the material noise and the human ego, right? The worldly debts, the anxiety, the things that completely overwhelm our RAM daily. But on the other hand, you have spiritual consciousness and pure orientation. The barzakh is an interactive state that syncs your bodily presence with your spiritual orientation. It effectively bridges the material and the spiritual without destroying either of them. You aren't just withdrawing from reality to go meditate on a mountain, you are balancing reality perfectly.
Now that the theoretical protocol is fully in place, we move to Phase 3, shattering the mental idols.
Look, intellectual arguments alone, they usually aren't enough to delete deeply ingrained malware. The system requires a physical hack at the personal level. And this brings us to the Ihram. Before entering the core of the Hajj, every single person must completely surrender their ego by stripping away all status symbols. You're taking off the Rolexes, the tailored suits, the designer dresses, and you put on 2 identical, unstitched white towels. It essentially looks just like a burial shroud. I mean, it's quite literally a dress rehearsal for death that instantly unplugs the ego. The billionaire CEO and the factory worker are standing there completely indistinguishable. It's a brilliant physical action that instantly kills the idol of human authority and status.
Next up is the physical execution of nahar, or animal sacrifice. Now remember, in the ancient world, livestock was the absolute ultimate symbol of wealth and economic power. So the act of sacrificing it isn't just some historical ritual, it forces a profound internal severing from materialism. By giving up this incredibly valuable asset, you are physically severing your heart's attachment to the economic idols that try to enslave you. It proves that your orientation to the Creator is way, way above any material interest.
All right, with the idol smashed and the ego fully unplugged, we arrive at Phase 4, the Great Factory Reset.
This brings us right to the climax of the explainer, the execution of the massive global Hajj gathering itself. We can think of the Kaaba as a sort of sovereign central server. During Hajj, millions of pilgrims converge on this single physical point, syncing together like these massive streams of light data. It is a breathtaking physical manifestation of unification at a global level, designed to update the entire human network all at once onto the operating system of Tawhid.
The source text actually described this immense physical movement as an open global university. It achieves what is called tazkiyah, which means purification and development. You literally have millions gathering from every single corner of the earth. They're exchanging news, sciences, arts, and trade. This immense forced contact with radically different cultures acts as the ultimate networking event for the soul. It completely shatters the corrupted data of tribalism and liberates the mind from that totally subjective idol of habit we talked about, basically forcing you to see the shared humanity in everyone.
Which finally brings us to our ultimate destination, Phase 5, returning to original fitre.
This is the ultimate objective of this multi-millennial relay race of ideas, an idea initiated by Abraham as the foundation, and then institutionalized globally into a practiced reality by Muhammad. We defined fitra as our original operating state. It's the innate factory setting of the human soul. It's a compass fundamentally wired for truth and in perfect harmony with the grand design of the cosmos. Every single step of the Hajj that we've covered today, from the absolute surrender of Tawhid to the stripping of the ego in Ihram, is perfectly engineered to clear out society's corrupted files and sync humanity all the way back to these pristine, pure factory settings.
We can actually map this entire spiritual journey as a brilliant allegory for the evolution of human consciousness, broken into 3 distinct steps. First, the camel. This represents the mind passively carrying the heavy burden of inherited tradition and societal norms without ever questioning them. Second, the lion. This is the state of using the protocols to empty the mind, fiercely roaring against and actively destroying those false mental idols. And finally, the child. Returning to pure fitra, completely cleared of all junk data, attuned to universal truth, and able to create completely anew.
This entire architectural marvel leaves us with one incredibly vital question to reflect on. I want you to look at your own daily routines right now. Look at your mental load. With all the material noise, the ego, and the corrupted files you accumulate every single day, is it time to clear your cache and run a factory reset on your own operating system? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I will catch you in the next one.